Hi, welcome back to our trip around Portugal and wider Europe. So I think I left you last on day 41 and we were at Vila Cha, just chilling out and relaxing there down by the beach, all very nice. So I've got a fair bit of catching up to do now, because we are now on day 55, 56, something like that. Quite a lot has happened and I haven't been very good at sticking to doing regular video updates, so yeah, my apologies for that, but I did wonder whether I'd actually do it regularly. So day 42 and 43 we stayed at Vila Cha. We was relaxing there just by the beach. We were going to go for a cycle down to Vila Conde, but we took the bikes off the bike rack to find that Tracey's tyre not only had a puncture in it, but it looks like it had got a puncture and it rubbed on the bike rack, and there was just like the tyre was just completely perished. So we ended up repairing in the tube and then buying a new tyre. But so that kind of wrecked that cycle ride, so we didn't actually get to do that ride. But we got it sorted. There was a decathlon nearby. Oh, and we were able to use, Tracey had some UK decathlon vouchers, and we was actually able to use those, believe it or not, in a decathlon in Portugal, which was all a bit bizarre, but hey. And then from there, day 4 and day 45, we actually moved across into Spain, and literally you just go across the river to go from Portugal to Spain. But we went across into Spain, went to A Guarda, to a campsite near there. And for 2 days really, and was really there just to avoid the rain, because sort of the second day was due to rain quite a lot just after we got there, so we thought we'd just sit it out there for a bit and to avoid the rain. And we went for a few walks and cycles while we could, like between the rain showers and things like that. Quite a nice little area, not somewhere unless they want to stay for too long, but we it was good just to hiding out from the rain, just because we got across the border. We had planned to get the ferry across between Portugal and Spain just to cut out a bit of the road trip, but we got there and the ferry wasn't running, so we just had to drive around a bit further. And then we move on to day 46. We moved inland to a place called Camping St Marie. It's near a lake, and as always I'll put all these names and things in the description. Nice little site. It was like a restaurant, bar, cafe, pretty much in the middle of nowhere. You could oversee a lake in the distance, and I'd say they've sort of turned a part of their car park into a camping area, but they've also put facilities in there as well. Facilities were all very nice, and we actually had a meal there as well that evening. We didn't really get a choice. She said, is veal okay? And we said yes, and we didn't really have a clue what we were getting, but it was absolutely gorgeous. Really nice meal. The veal was on the bone and it just sort of fell off, so any vegetarians or vegans, I apologise, but no, it was a very, very nice meal. And to be honest though, you could have just given me a plate of the potatoes with it, because obviously it'd all been cooking in like a sort of stewing thing, and it was all just really very nice. So that was a nice place to stay there. And then from there, just looking down at my notes, if you're wondering why I keep looking in my lap, that's where I've got my notes. And then after there, so following day there, day 47, we went back to the coast. That's C-E-E. And we were getting quite low on LPG at this point, so I used my LPG, I think it is one of the apps. There's a few apps out there, but one of the apps to find some LPG, and went there and got that filled up, so that was handy. We haven't had too much problems finding LPG, if I'm honest, on this trip so far, which has been good. I know while I'm recording this, I've been seeing things on Facebook about people struggling to get it in the UK at the moment. I mean, certainly it's not at every petrol station here, but with a little bit of planning, we haven't had any problems. And then, so after we filled up with LPG, we just sort of carried on driving a bit, and we went to a place called, and I'm going to ruin this name, so I apologise, A Laracha maybe, and it was a free air provided by the local council, so thank you to them for that. And there were a motorhome service point there, and it was just a car park of a basketball court. There's an indoor basketball court. It was a multi-purpose court really, but it was just a car park with absolutely stunning views. We were there, and when we got there was another van already there, but we never saw the people with it. and then after we went to bed, another van turned up. We didn't realise until the morning when we opened the curtains to find another van parked there. But really, really nice spot. Must admit, was probably tempted to stay an extra night there, but we didn't. We moved on day 48. Moved along the cove, along the coast to Xove, Z-O-V-E, and it was a free park up, again provided by the council, so thanks to them. And they'd actually done a really nice job. They'd laid it out. It was really close to a gorgeous beach. The location wise was great, and they'd set it out really nicely. Unfortunately, it was a bit noisy. People were turning up really late at night to that one. Bearing in mind, the one before was, we didn't even know someone had turned up. And also the biggest problem there though was there's a joining bit of land, bit of property there, and there's a dog in there that was pretty much barking all night. So not the council's fault at all, but it just made it not such a great place to stay, really. But as for free facilities provided by the local council, who couldn't knock it at all. Really nice. And there were public toilets nearby, but they were closed, unfortunately. But that doesn't really matter to us because we didn't really need that. So, and then moving on from there, we then moved to Atalaia. Maybe it's near Foz. It was a campsite there called Atalaia. Again, I'll put all these names in the description. That was a really nice site, really well laid out. The guy who ran it must be the owner, because I don't think any employee was going to work as hard as he was working. The guy didn't stop. He ran the site pretty much on his own, as far as I could see. Apparently he had some help, but 1 minute he was in reception, 1 minute he was showing people like the spaces, and he gives you a really good intro to the site when you get there. And next minute it's cleaning the toilets. So busy guy, really busy site. The only thing I'd say about it is the pitches are quite small. It's not the hugest site they got there, so they've obviously tried to cram in as many pitches as they can, understandably, but it was okay. It was good for a night. Might have stayed there a couple of nights. And the good thing about there was that it was really quite close to the sea, but there was a path all the way along, like a promenade. Went for quite a while to cross down past a few really nice beaches, so we did that day. Just had a stretch out. My knee had been playing up, so it was kind of a trying to see how my knee was doing. Kind of walk nice and flat, and really nice walk just along the coast there. So from the campsite we literally went straight to the coast, and then you hit the path straight away and you just go left or right, and you can just follow it to either end. And that was really nice. And actually that evening, I think Tracey was on the phone, and I just had to wander down to the beach just to stretch my legs out a little bit again. So it was quite nice. Good location. But that was Good Friday. So problem being we'd struggled earlier in that day to get any food anywhere, and we hadn't planned particularly well. So you'd have thought just before Easter we would have stocked up with things, knowing that the shops are going to be closed, especially in a Catholic country and all of that stuff, but we didn't. So we struggled a little bit. So cafes were open, we got things there, and we found a bakery was open, got some bread, and so it was all fine in the end. But Easter kind of crept up on us. So and then so to day 15. I've got a blank in my diary, and you might have noticed I'm outside recording this video. The reason being is I normally do them inside, as you know, inside the van behind me, but Tracey's actually listening to a conference in there at the moment for her continued professional development. So I've kind of been relegated out here, and I've checked on my Park4Night, I've checked on my diary, I've checked all sorts. I can't remember where we were on night 50, so if I do find out, maybe I'll post something later when I've checked with Tracey. But then from there we then moved on. It was a bit of a nightmare drive, to be honest. We were really struggling to find places because, as I mentioned, it was Easter, and really it was lots of things were booked up, or they were closed. Couldn't believe it. When we got into France at this point, and it was closed. A lot of the campsites were closed, and the campsite we did eventually go to, we said to them about that, and they were like, I know, it's ridiculous. Easter and campsites are closed, but never mind. So we went to camping A Guarda, and it was a nice site. It wasn't near the coast. We'd gone inland a little bit there, and it was nice facilities, all very pleasant. And we just sort of chilled once we got there, and then the following day we just headed out, and then went to, where did we go next? So for day 52, that's right, we stayed just outside Biarritz, and again I'll put all the details in the description. But it was great. It's like a car park. You go in, you use like a machine, and there's barriers, and you choose how long you want to stay for. You can do up to 48 hours, or you can do like 7 days. And we went in there. We did 48 hours because we knew it was due to rain the following day and be quite heavy, so we thought we'd just sort of hide out there from the rain, because we have had a bit of a mixed bag of weather. So we went in there, and we were a bit concerned because there were some reviews on Park4Night that people got in there but then couldn't get out. We didn't have a problem with it at all. A bit of a spoiler, but when we left, we didn't have an issue getting out of there. And it was a nice place, and there was a park up a bit closer, like towards the sea, but it was literally, that was just a car park, and it was by a main road, and it just seemed a bit busy, at least where we were. It was very quiet. It was a fairly busy area. There's quite a few people there, but it was nice. It did the job. There was no toilet facilities. They were in the process of building toilets, and I believe they're building showers, but it was literally just a car park. It did have a motorhome service point and hookups, so it worked, and that was only like €13 a night. And a few weeks ago I would have balked at paying €13 a night, but as we stepped across the border into France, we really noticed the prices go up on everything, not just park ups, on food. When I was doing the last shop in France after sort of coming from Portugal and Spain, I was horrified by the prices, because I'd got used to Portuguese and Spanish prices. So that's been a bit of a shock to the system, to be honest, is just the increased costs. And so we parked up there, and then we walked down along the coast to Biarritz. It was nice, the sea was out, so we was actually able to walk all the way down to Biarritz along the beach, which was lovely. But on the way back, the sea had come in, so we had to go inland on the way back. But we just went down, we had a walk around Biarritz, went around the market. It was really nice. We had lunch, we got lunch out, but we just got it at a local little bakery. Just got some a quiche and a big baguette, and we shared it between us, and we just sat on a bench overlooking the sea, and that was nice. And then from there, what did we do? Later on we was having a wander around, and we just fancied a coffee. So we were looking for like a cafe or somewhere like that to go just for a coffee, but most of them were more restauranty, so we thought we'd go to a Tobacco, because quite often you get a beer and a coffee at Tobacco, but the ones we went to was closed. And as we was walking around to the beach, we thought, we'll just go to a beach bar and get a coffee there, and we just found this hole in the wall type coffee place, which was great. We got one there, and there was a park right by the beach there as well, so we found a bench overlooking the sea in this park and drank our coffees. And we got these little, I can only describe as little donuts, but they were filled with chocolate as well. Tracey got those. They were nice to sort of have something a bit sweet with your coffee. As you can tell, the diet may be not going too well at the moment. So we walked in there, and then we walked back, and then on the way back we found this little sort of, I won't say beach bar, it was overlooking the sea, but it was up on a cliff, little sort of shack type bar, and we had a beer there on the way back. That was quite nice. And then we went back to the van. Following day it just rained. Rained, and Tracey had the bright idea of walking out around the lakes. There's a little walk there you could do around a couple of lakes, and then on the way go and do some shopping. And yes, we did need a few things, but I think we probably could have coped. So the rain sort of slowed down a little bit, so we went out then. Of course, the moment we got out, absolutely chucked it down. We both got soaked, even though we had waterproofs on, and it was just a bit of a joke. And trying to dry things in a van, as you probably know, is a bit of a nightmare. So, and we made the schoolboy error really of wearing the shoes that we wear all the time for that, sort of like walking trainer type shoes. Probably should have put our boots on, because the problem was that our main pairs of shoes have been like soaked for days and not been able to wear them. So that was a bit of a schoolboy error, but hey ho. And then from there, let me just look at my diary. And then from there we just thought, you know what, we just fancy going somewhere a bit nicer. So we had a look, and we've got an ASCII card, so we looked on that, and we found a site for €20 a night, swimming pools, because it was due to continue raining for a few days. So we thought what we'd do is we'll go in there, and at least if they got indoor facilities like swimming pools and stuff like that, we'll have something to do. So we went there, and the plan was to stay there at least 2 or 3 nights, if not longer. and just hide out from the weather a little bit. But we got there and their electricity was down, so they kind of checked us through, but we couldn't make the payment. So, and we hadn't committed to a number of nights. And then by the time we went back, we kind of realised that, you know, it was Easter holiday still, lots of kids around, and and it was a family type park, so you'd fully expect that. But actually, the things that we kind of went there for was like the swimming pools, like sauna and jacuzzis and things like that. Well, the sauna you had to pay a lot more, like pay separately for it, and it was ridiculous money. You had to pay like to go to like a whole sauna package, like hour and a half. It was like €25 a person, and the jacuzzi that we saw in the main swimming area wasn't really a jacuzzi, unless there was one with a spa as well. And the swimming pools were all geared up, you know, for kids, and there was lots of kids sort of like splashing around and having good fun and stuff. And we went in there, you know, we got kind of jumped on several times, and it's just like, well, you know what, it's not really what we're looking for. So we actually decided to stay there just a one night in the end. So when we went back and the electric was up and we went back to pay, we just did it for one night there. Nothing wrong with the site, absolutely gorgeous bathrooms, beautiful rainfall showers, yeah, really nicely laid out site. And it, you know, if it had been off season, which is why we have the esky cars really, for using things off season, it might have been quite nice if it wasn't that busy, but hey ho, it is what it is. And then from there we thought, well, okay, let's move on, and we found an aire just down the road from where I'm sat now. And we turned up there and I just didn't have a good feeling about it. And Tracey said to me, what should I do? Should we do it for like 2-3 nights? I said, no, just do one night. She said, well, why? I said, well, I just don't have a great feeling about it. So she said to me, okay, well, do you not want to stay here? So we had a look, jumped on Park4Night again, and there was another site just down the road which was being reviewed by admin. So it was a new one added. It wasn't, you know, fully on the site yet. And we thought, well, we'll go and have a look at that, and it was basically the same price, and that's where I'm sat now. We've booked in here for 2 nights, but we'll probably stay a bit longer. It's a really nice site, actually. It's really quiet. We're the only camper van here. There's a caravan behind me over there, which I'm not even sure if there's anybody in it, and there's loads of like bungalows and things. It's called La Annis, and the only complaints about it really is the bathrooms aren't particularly clean. The actual facilities themselves are, but it's like they haven't swept the floors, and we're in a pine forest, so pine needles and bugs and things get everywhere. But it might just be because we're a bit out of season, and so they're not really geared up because they're doing a lot of work. They've put in a new boiler. The shower's lovely. I mean, absolutely lovely shower, but the old boiler's still laying outside the toilets and things like that. So they're clearly doing quite a bit of work on the site, but it's been a nice little find. The aire that we was going to stay at was the same price, €14. In fact, it might have been more, but it was about the same price, and all they had was some toilets, and they were really close together, the vans. I didn't particularly like that, whereas here, we're the only van here at the moment. They've got 10 motorhome pitches, and we're the only one here, and it's nice, and I'm not under, even though we're in a pine forest, the van's not actually under any of the trees, so I shouldn't get any sticky goo on the solar panel, or any pine cones putting dents in the roof or smashing the solar panel, but should be alright, but we'll see. And to be honest, we'll probably end up extending here, stay here a bit longer, because we're probably ahead of where we need to be, and it's just a nice little place, so we might just chill here for a little bit. As I mentioned earlier, Tracey's doing a conference today and tomorrow, so we'll probably almost certainly stay here today and tomorrow, and then maybe a few more days, we'll see. But we're right by the Aire basin, and it's a nice walk down to there. I think it's about 20 minutes just to walk down to the basin and have a walk around there, and there's a little town you can walk to and things like that, so it's quite a nice spot, and it's not busy, hiding away from all the Easter busyness. So let's just have a look at my notes. I think that's pretty much it. So that's us up to date, day 55, but we'll probably be here for a few more days, but I'll update you on that in the next video. This video's been way longer than I always said I wasn't going to do long videos, and I'm just looking at this, and this is like 20 minutes now, so my apologies. But if you are still watching it, thank you, and I hope you're enjoying these updates. If you are, please subscribe, make some comments, even if you don't like them, make some comments if they're constructive. Great, might help me to improve it. If they're not constructive, well, I don't really care, if I'm honest. That's fine. So cool, until the next video, I'm going to go and get on with some more work. Bye bye.